Another local derby this weekend, Kelso taking on Jedforest. Kelso trying to get back to winning ways once again. Selkirk were at home to the champions Boroughmuir, trying to retain that 14-month unbeaten record. We've got all the details coming up. Welcome to Borders Rugby Roundup, and let's start in Premier 1 with Selkirk against Boroughmuir. Selkirk, of course, unbeaten at home for 14 months. They'd already beaten Ayr and Watsonians this season, but they really wanted to add the scalp of Boroughmuir. Grahame MacGregor reports.
Well, no tries in this game. In fact, only 2 penalty goals early on in the match from the boot of David Cassidy. The Selkirk centre was later taken to hospital after a mid-air collision caused a rather nasty head wound, but he's home again and recovering well. Both sides came agonisingly close to scoring tries, with Boroughmuir having 2 periods of intense pressure at the Selkirk line. It all came down to a final 15 minutes of tense drama, with once again Selkirk holding on for a famous victory.
It just keeps on getting better and better, I feel. It's actually lost for words because you've just beaten the champions, and next week from now on we've got 3 away games, and I really feel we have to take some of the away games to not just to rely on our home for them. We want to be a team that can go away from home and play rugby, and to get the support today on the day was just unbelievable.
Hawick were looking for their first away win of the season. They went to Bridgehawk to take on Stirling County, the bottom club. Well, despite getting 3 tries from Ryan Hogg and a couple from Keith Headley, they went down 34 points to 24. Jim Hay gave us his reaction.
Stirling probably deserved to win. They were the hungrier side, and I think there's maybe too many of us, or too many of the Hawick team waiting for it to happen. You know, you can't wait for things to happen, you've got to make them happen, and we've got to start doing that on the park.
Melrose were looking for their 4th win in a row. They went to Myerside to take on Watsonians and came away with a victory, 24 points to 17. There were tries by John DL, Jordan Macy, which was his 5th of the season, and also Wayne Mitchell.
We got a great attitude out there today. I thought the attitude was fantastic, and I thought the effort and commitment and some of the rugby we played was excellent. We've not quite put it all together just yet, but when we do, we're going to get a really good result, and hopefully that'll be next week against Heriots.
And we must congratulate Craig Chalmers for becoming a selector for the club international side, as well as his coaching duties with the Scotland under-20 team. Well, let's have a look at the table in Premier 1. Melrose are 6th ahead of Selkirk, who've played 1 less match, and Hawick, who are 10th. Next week, Hawick are at home to Watsonians, Selkirk go to Raeburn Place to take on Edinburgh Accies, and Melrose will play Heriots, all games kicking off at 2 o'clock. Later in the programme, the result of our Scotland-South Africa competition. And we also set a new competition where you can win tickets to see Scotland take on Canada at Pataudry up in Aberdeen, courtesy of Scottish Rugby. But after the break, we have a look at the border teams involved in Premier 2. On to Premier 2 now, and we'll start with that local derby at Poinder Park. It was Kelso against Jedforest. Here's Richie Gray.
Kelso bounced back from defeat last week to beat second place Jedforest 20 points to 14. Scoring 2 tries from Stuart Lowry and Kevin Aitchison, Kevin also kicked 2 conversions and 2 penalties, while Greg Walker scored 2 tries, both converted by Chris Richards.
I saw today that, the last 20 minutes there's been a belief out there that has been lacking the whole season, and there's no reason of speaking of Beige here, and that these teams are very close in this league, and it just takes little things to go during the game, and they can go either way.
We made mistakes all over the place today. I actually said to them when we were in the huddle at the finish, it says you could hardly see a bit of sweat on anybody's brow. I mean, the effort was, for a Jed Kelso game, I felt for up front, it just wasn't there today.
Gala have had some pretty close matches this season, going down by a single point twice and by 2 points once. This weekend they travelled to Musselburgh and Laing Speirs went with them.
Gala had to work hard at Stony Hill to get a win which completed a run of 50 years against Musselburgh without being defeated. It was a late drop goal by Dean Keddy which saw them through, and it followed on a try by Tim Muskelly and a penalty by Craig Parker. Gala made 3 forward replacements in the second half, which put some life into the team, very much needed after a poor first half performance which saw Musselburgh controlling most of the game.
At 10-3 down with about 8 or 9 minutes to go, it did look as though the writing was on the wall for us, but kept the squeeze on, worked the ball into position, and it was a smartly taken drop goal by Dean Keddy, which eventually put us 11-10 up, but huge psychological result for us today.
Peebles haven't been beaten at the Gates in the league since September the 29th, 2007, and they didn't want to have that record spoiled at the weekend as they took on Aberdeen Grammar. Reporting is Bill Polson.
Peebles have Dan Botwood to thank for preserving their long-standing undefeated record at the Gates. The standoff kicked a penalty after less than 2 minutes, but Peebles fell behind when Aberdeen fullback Chris Brown went over for a try after 7 minutes. 4 penalties later, 3 by Botwood and 1 by Steve Aiken for Grammar, and with half-time looming, Donald Sangster scored a home try which Botwood converted. Peebles could not turn pressure into points in the third quarter, and a second penalty by Aiken drew the visitors closer. In the final 15 minutes, Peebles incurred 3 yellow cards, and playing first 1 and finally 2 men short, they conceded a late try scored by replacement Calum Scott. So it ended Peebles 19, Aberdeen Grammar 16.
In the table, there's no change for Jed at second, Gala move up to 4th, Peebles are 6th, and Kelso 9th. Next week, Gala host table toppers Dundee High School FP. Jed are out to defend their unbeaten home record against Musselburgh. Kelso travel to Haddington in a match which doubles as a Border League fixture, and Peebles look for their first away win at Hamilton. In National League 1, Langham beat Edinburgh University on the road with Stephen Nicol scoring 2 tries to top the rankings list as joint top try scorer in the Borders on 7. Berwick lost to East Kilbride. Hawick YM got their biggest win of the season at home to Hillfoots in Division 2. In East League 1, Hawick Lundeen won their 9th straight win to top the table. They beat Broughton 37-7, while Hawick Harlequins won the local derby at Duns 17-12. In East 2 there were wins for Earlston and St Boswell's, a defeat for Walkerburn, and Gala YM's match against Edinburgh Northern was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. As always, full details of results and fixtures are on our website, but next Saturday it's round 1 of the Scottish Hydroelectric Cup with Hawick Lundeen in a local derby against Earlston.
Before we go today, the result of our Scotland-South Africa competition. The question we set you back in 2002, Scotland beat South Africa and they scored 2 tries, one of them by an ex-Hawick player. We asked you who that was and the answer was Nicky Walker. A big postbag, thanks very much for taking part. We put all the correct answers into the hat and the first one out was Stephen McHenry from Aberlady, and they'll be going on November the 15th to Murrayfield for that game. Well, on to this week's competition, and it's for Scotland-Canada tickets. The event is happening on the 22nd of November up at Pittodrie, Scotland against Canada. And the question is this: how many times have Scotland played Canada in a capped international? Is it 2, is it 4, or is it 6? Well, if you think you know, drop us a line, bordersrugby@hotmail.com, and we'll give out the answer next week, and the first correct answer out of the hat will win that pair of tickets to see Scotland take on Canada in Aberdeen. Well, that's it for today. Join us again for Borders Rugby Roundup next Monday.